But there is one aspect of our life that is slightly less typical. We're a thruple. A thruple is a three-people relationship.
It was only a matter of time, wasn't it? We all knew at some stage a polyamorous relationship would appear on this show. But it raises the question, how exactly does 90 Day Fiance work if you're already married and you have another girlfriend?
We are legally married. Our only option is to get legally divorced so that one of us can apply for the K1 visa and bring her to the US.
So meet Matt and his wife Amani. Now, at first glance, you might think to yourself, why are these two on this show? A, they're already married, and B, they look like they have their shit together. They're good looking, they're financially stable, and they're happily married with 2 daughters in San Diego.
Matt and I first met in college, and I fell head over heels for this man. It's simple, but it's true. Every girl wants a guy who makes her laugh.
Now, on the surface, these two look like they're the poster child for what everyone wants in a relationship. They've been together for ages, and look at them, they still look at each other with love in their eyes. Right? Well, look, if like me, you're sat here thinking, I recognise these two, where have I seen them before? Then let me put you out of your misery. You see, about a year ago, they actually featured in a hit Netflix TV show, a reality show called How to Get Rich. And in that show, Amani candidly shared how she makes about $24,000 a month, and yet they're in debt. They spend about $27,000 a month. Now, with the help of the host, they were able to get that overspending under control, thankfully. But one of the main takeaways from the show, apart from how much money she earns and how recklessly she spends it, is how Amani came across as talking down to her husband. Just take a look at some of the Reddit posts that were discussing that first episode. Yeah, mark my words, I'm certain that is something that's going to crop up this season. But bringing this back full circle, back to the topic of 90 Day Fiance, Amani wants to be crystal clear. She wants us all to know that she's the one who calls all the shots in their relationship and in life.
I'm a boss babe. And babe stands for boss ass bitch energy. Today, I work in the tech industry.
Now, you might pick up a slight accent in Amani's voice, and that is because she grew up in Tunisia. She actually emigrated to the States when she was 18 years old, and she's established a very successful career for herself. As I say, on the show How to Get Rich, she said she had a monthly income of about $24,000. And judging by the house that they live in, my gosh, she's done extremely well for herself, right? But keep in mind, and this was another huge theme that appeared on that show, she's the breadwinner, right? Matt is a stay-at-home dad, and that imbalance in the financial strength of each partner definitely affords Amani an element of control over Matt. Again, that's something to keep an eye out for the rest of this season. But it's safe to say that isn't the only interesting thing about these two. You see, the very reason that they've come on this show is far from typical.
But there is one aspect of our life that is slightly less typical. We're a thruple. A thruple is a three-people relationship.
Slightly less typical. You can say that again. Gosh, like here they are on TV talking about their wild sex life and their polyamory, acting as if it's no big deal. It's just another Monday. Now, I get it, right? Don't get me wrong. Thruples are becoming more common. And in fact, Amani has taken it upon herself to try and bring more attention to them and clear up a few misconceptions.
There's a lot of stigma around a thruple. It's very sexualized. A lot of people assume it's just a hookup, but it's actually a long-term commitment, just like any other two-person relationship.
It's very sexualized, she says, whilst she's literally dressed as a sexy nurse. If Amani's plan was to desexualize poly relationships, well, she's going about it completely the wrong way. And it doesn't exactly help matters that they met their Mexican girlfriend, Annie, at a strip club before they proceeded to have a threesome with her. So how exactly does the whole dynamic work between the three of them?
I identify myself as bisexual. I don't like labels. It just means I love all type of humans.
In the beginning, I would say that I was a little vulnerable to think that there was something that I wasn't able to fulfill for her.
So Amani certainly got what she wanted, but notice Matt's hesitance there. I was vulnerable, he says, indicating that this wasn't necessarily his idea. Again, remember the power dynamic between these two. Remember who earns all the money and who calls the shots. Now, the pair tell us they are now both on board, and they've been quote-unquote dating Annie for over a year at this point. In fact, they're keen to stress they are now both developing feelings for her.
Feelings started to develop really quick.
She motivates us, she pushes us. It's really the extra things that we've added to the relationship just with her being around.
So as Amani and Matt fall in love with Annie, they're now getting ready to take things to the next level. They've planned a trip to Mexico to meet Annie's family, and if everything goes well, they want to move her to California to live with them. But bringing Annie over to America complicates things, especially legally.
We are legally married. Our only option is to get legally divorced so that one of us can apply for the K-1 visa and bring her to the US.
Sorry, what the f***? Are these people stupid? Do they not think that immigration watches this show? Surely what they're planning is fraud. It's fraudulent. It's an abuse of the system, isn't it? For someone who prides herself on being a boss babe, this sounds like an insanely stupid plan. They're willing to get divorced and all the complications that come with a divorce. It's not easy. They're going to film the whole thing just as evidence to be used against them. All so that they can bring over a woman that they've only met in person for 24 days over the whole last year. I mean, yet again, hats off to them. Can we all give a round of applause to the 90-day production team? Where on earth do they find these people?
I think that it would devastate us if this trip doesn't go well. I think we have a lot invested in this, and we have a lot of care for someone that would be hard to reverse.
Both Matt and Amani are convinced that they're in love with Annie, but let's just be real here. They've only actually met her a handful of times, and all those times have been when they've been on vacation. Like, sorry guys, hate to break it to you, but real life is very different to vacation. Now, that is, I guess, why they're going to Mexico on this upcoming trip. They want to get to know her a bit more in person and see what day-to-day life might be like. But when Matt and Amani meet up with some friends to share their news, their friends are just as shocked as we are.
You're thinking about separating.
Getting a divorce.
Yeah.
Like legally. Wait.
Whoa.
Just on paper. Just on paper.
Whoa. Indeed. Surely this is fraud. Please, someone let me know down in the comments below. Now, in response to his friends, Matt tries to assure them that he and Amani are secure in their relationship. They don't need a piece of paper that says that they're married. But their friends are left questioning two things. Number one, is this really necessary? And number two, have Amani and Matt completely lost their minds?
Not just getting married to someone you don't know, but to divorce someone you do know in order to bring in someone into this marriage. It seems excessive, and it seems really fast to me.
Yeah, excessive and fast pretty much sums up this entire scenario. Now, Amani and Matt's friend voices concerns that Annie could just be taking advantage of them. Why? Well, because, surprise, surprise, they've been financially helping her out. But on top of that, Matt's friend is now also becoming increasingly worried that this is all Amani's idea. Is Matt really as on board with this as he's making out?
I'm mostly concerned just about overall Matt's well-being, just make sure that he is going through what he wants to do in life. Is he doing this because it's going to make his wife happy, or is he going to do it because it makes him happy?
With Amani being the breadwinner, with Amani being the bubbly personality and the bisexual one who wanted to explore, is it really that much of a stretch to imagine that this boss babe is the one who's calling the shots? Which, of course, leads to the question, how much does Matt want this versus Amani wanting this? Keep in mind, right, these two haven't had a poly relationship before. It's pretty clear that they haven't really thought this through very well. They don't really know what the practical implications of having a third partner will be. But, fortunately for them, Matt's friend does have experience in that department.
I learned that I became jealous because
Really?
they started spending time together. They started laughing and having their internal jokes. And it's hard.
Isn't it hilarious that Amani really appears to have only just realised that she's going to have to share her husband not just in a sexual way? As Matt's friend talks about the jealousy that he experienced in his own poly relationship, Amani looks like this is all just dawning on her for the first time. For this to work, she's going to have to be cool watching Matt cuddle Annie, right? They're going to have their own in-jokes. They're going to do things without her. Heck, Matt is going to be the stepfather of sorts to Annie's 3 kids. So is that really something that she can go through with?
I tend to be more jealous. I admit it. Being in a thruple, that's an uneven number, so somebody most likely is going to feel left out.
Exactly, Amani. It really seems like these guys haven't thought this out at all. It feels like they're acting out of lust rather than acting with their heads. But with their friends now planting small seeds of doubts in their minds, this upcoming trip to Mexico is gonna be more important than ever.
This trip is even more nerve-wracking now because we have all these things in the back of our head now. Nobody wants to hear "I told you so." We want to prove them wrong.
But is that really a good motivation? Is wanting to prove someone wrong a good enough reason for going through with this madness? Now, the right thing to do here would probably be to hold your hands up and say, I think I might have made a bit of a mistake. Give me a bit more time to think this through. Only the problem is, Amani, well, she seems like the kind of lady who doesn't like to admit that she's ever wrong. And that raises the question, is this really about love? Or is this more Amani just trying to prove the world wrong?